Vizlib.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Vizlib Appy Hour. This is the show where we help you make your data talk. And we've got something fun, but also a business case. I think we do a lot of fun things on here, but we also want to show people how you can use Vizlib for real life and and not just making memes
serious, yeah.
about corn.
Right.
But before we get started, do you have a drink with you?
Yes, I think we both and much of the southeast and eastern part of the U.S. experienced a nice little hurricane or tropical storm last week. So none of the liquor stores around here are around or open, but I do have like a hurricane style glass, so I figured I'll just use that. It's getting green screened out, but I got just bubbly water today. Sorry for the background noise.
I've got tea today, so I'm in North Carolina, and I feel like we really just skipped fall and went straight to winter because it's so cold now. I'm sure anyone up north is like, it's not cold, but it gets down to like the 40s now. We're like, what is this?
I love that. That's like here in where I'm at in Tampa, like we evacuate a little bit. But before that, before the hurricane, like 2 weeks ago, it was in the 90s. And so to have it drop like 20 degrees, it's like, ooh, I can finally like get my hoodie out again, even though my blood is thinned.
Yeah.
But we're very fortunate, like no major issues. Sounds like you only had like power outage little things, right? Like little blips.
Yeah, I think because North Carolina, like we're not so used to hurricanes, we're not as prepared, and probably our like lines aren't as high tech as Florida.
I don't know if there's anything high tech about it. Like, it was chaotic for a little while there, and like last minute, yes, you need to evacuate. These are the zones, and you're like, what zone am I in? And then they would add additional letters like zone AB and CB, and you're like, I still don't know. Just do I need to leave now? And so we jetted with a bunch of families out of the area, and then slowly came back, and it's like it's a bit of a shock. It's a weird feeling too. I was telling people like we're very fortunate. I'm happy like our house didn't get hurt or anything like that too much, but at the same time, like sad that it happened to like Fort Myers and they got hit so bad. And it's this weird, like I'm happy and I'm sad at the same time. I've never had that feeling before.
Oh,
so I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's like part of the shock of everything and everybody's going through stuff. Maybe a little bit like 9/11, almost like people are coming together and helping each other out. Like talk to my neighbors way more lately.
Oh, really?
Everybody's in the same thing together.
Oh,
so maybe not as not something that you necessarily hit where you're at, but it's a market change. Like everybody, it's just the talk of the town right now, of course.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, here it was not a big deal. It's like, what? There's a storm? Oh,
yeah.
What? The internet's not working? Oh, it's back. And that was it.
So we just went live with a brand new intro that we were playing around with. We meant to do it a while back, but Lucas likes it. And the retro game intro. Yeah, we snuck that one in there from before.
Hi, Lucas. Playing around with things.
I think he was just in Brazil. Lucas was just there for Qlik World in Sao Paulo. So maybe he can add some feedback. There's others in the comments that were in Brazil for that as well. Let us know.
Yeah. How was it there? What a good time to go.
It looked like a really good turnout from the pictures that Lucas sent in. So really? I didn't know. I guess they're starting to do like the Qlik World tours in some major cities. So it was in Sao Paulo, which is like, that's on my list of places to visit. I didn't even know they were going to have one. Maybe I would have joined you, Lucas.
I wonder where the next one is going to be.
We definitely have a list. I know there's Amsterdam is one that Yorick brought up. Because he's in the Netherlands, of course. So there's others that want to go to that one. So I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting. We can dive right in. How does that sound?
Sure, yeah. Set us up. So we're going to get serious, which it's been a little while for that. And put our business suits on and use some, I think, different capabilities than we've shown on Appy Hour, or at least stuff we haven't shown in a while, right?
Yeah, and I think so. What I've done this just based off of what I've seen customers do and what they find useful and things that we get the most questions on. So I thought this app would be really great for that. So starting off again, it's very simple. So I think we did a show with Emily about making your data talk and how storytelling is so important. And I think that's something to always keep in mind when you are doing data visualization. Just think about what are you trying to say. Don't just throw things together. And so we've got three different sheets on here. And like with most business apps, there are more than one sheet. And usually we focus on Appy just one sheet, one thing. But if you do have multiple sheets, it's important to figure out a story that you're going to tell. I think DAR is what a lot of people like to use. Dashboard analytics reporting.
Yeah, you got it. It's like a flow of that high level. This is what, without a lot of interaction, the first sheet's generally something like that, like what the executives or whatever may want to see. The second one is great, like why is there a dip in that 1 month or whatever that might be, and maybe some tables and pivoting, and then reporting is like the unfortunate part of most BI, like wanting to just export it to Excel and having that really comfortable like table view of things, rows and columns. It's a good framework to use, I think, for any type of application. And then people get really accustomed to it. In any Qlik app that they'll open, they know that it follows a certain format, and so they don't get lost. Otherwise, you end up, which everybody ends up having at some point, like 65 different sheets, and you're like, which one do I go to? So it's cool. I can tell right there, you already have the sheet menu in use, and you're telling people what's in the app right along the top.
Yeah, so these right here, what I'm using for the sheet menu here, it's the top menu. So you can actually add menu items quite easily. And what I've seen a lot of customers do is that they don't have this. They just have your classic, sheets, and you go through they go through them. But usually when I show them this, it kind of blows them away. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you can go here and then click on that, and it's all there in front of you." And it's small and minor and very simple to do, but I think it helps people when they come in and to not overwhelm them. So you can come here, you can go into the top menu, and something really great is you can actually create groups.
Mm-hmm.
So let's pretend we make a group here, and we can add another item, maybe add this sheet in here. So you can see there's a drop down, kind of like shopping websites drop down, and you can add different groups in, like maybe store analysis. There's like a 5-parter. You want to analyze like every single store and or every state's store. So you can add that all in and make it all simple and easy to get to and navigate with. So this is quick
Great
tip.
for organization of that stuff, where it's not just the chaos of dropping it down, in that big menu. So drop them in there. And something that they added, I was off for a little while and I hadn't played around with sheet menu in a while, is community pages. So if you do have a lot of additional pages and you're like, I don't know where in the menu, you can have one that just kind of pulls in everything else as well. So you can have the best of, both worlds there.
Something simple, easy to add. And
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Nice.
I'll tell everybody a little bit about what this is actually doing. So this data is from Kaggle. Here we love Kaggle. It's where we get a lot of our data. Not sponsored. If you'd like to sponsor us, Kaggle, let us know. Comment down below, please. But it's store prediction is kind of the feeling that I'm going with. So there's a breakdown of all the different stores. I think it was Quick Mart or something, and so they broke down stores. They broke down kind of what foods they sold, and also advertisements, and also like cost of running a store, and the cost and the sales, how much they earned. And they gave a lot about customer information. So they did a survey, I think, from everyone who's checking out, kind of asking questions like, how many kids do you have? Are you just shopping for you or a family, etc.? So all of that. So I think that's why it was important for me when I saw the data set. I thought it'd be great to do kind of a prediction. What if, like, if you wanted to open a new store, how much would it cost?
Oh, nice.
And go from there. So that's the what if that we'll get to later. But this first sheet here, it's just a store breakdown. So it's very general information. So some of the specialties they have is a coffee bar, a prepared foods within the store, florists, and the salad bar. So you can see like how many stores actually have that. You can see most stores actually have coffee, prepared food, florists, and salad bar. And then maybe you can zoom in and you can see every state does have some places that don't have a coffee bar. And you can see that any place that doesn't have a coffee bar, they are either a mid-size grocery store or a supermarket. So everything else, even small groceries, they have. When they label it small groceries, it means they've deemed this grocery store to be a small grocery. I don't know. I don't
Not
know the
like
exact.
miniature M&Ms. Like
Yeah, everything's just miniature things there.
that would actually be a really funny store just to have. People would go for that. That's a freebie to all of the retail folks out there. Make a miniature only store, and people will love shopping there.
Like small thing, small
See, we're
portion.
trying to be serious, and then I go take us off on tangents.
But yeah, this is just overall. And here, these are some advertisements and what they use. So you can see that they use cash register handouts the most, and the people where they do that, what food department they pass it out more for is the carousel, which I don't know the exact definition of what these mean and what a carousel means. I'm assuming it's anything that spins and you can just pick food off of it. That's what I'm getting. And you can see like they don't really give out advertisements on household items, health and hygiene, frozen foods. So this is an interesting breakdown.
Yeah, I think it's the heat map's really good because it can show you where they're doing things, but as importantly, like there's all that area that doesn't have much color in it, and it could be an opportunity. Like none of our stores are doing advertisements for frozen foods or health and hygiene stuff, and it could be like let's experiment and see. Let's give like this region or these sets of stores that stuff, and it's good to see that because in like a table of data or even in bar charts, you won't see that information at all. It will just not be present. So you won't know that there's a lot of double negatives here. You won't know that you're not doing something.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's cool to have that, like all of the dimensions. This is what's possible. And these are the ones that are not doing these things. We have no ads for any of that type of stuff, or very few. It's like super faint, which you can just hover over and get the actual metric, right?
Yeah, I wish we had more. If we had more data, which I'm sure if this is a real business, they would have this data to see, which items are doing the best, and which items aren't doing the best, and you can match it up. So maybe you can see that beverages are not selling well, but you can also see that there's less advertisements going out for beverages, and then you will know, okay, maybe we need to advertise beverages more, or maybe you see that carousel items are not doing well, even though they're really pushing it. Maybe it's better just to lay off of that. Who knows?
Yeah.
If there's more
And
data, you can definitely do a lot more with this.
I'm a little rusty. Is it the grid chart or the heat map?
I'm using the grid chart. So to anyone who's watching who hasn't been keeping up with all of our updates, we used to have a heat map, but it's been updated with a grid chart. So going forward, if you want to use a heat map, actually type in grid chart, and any improvements in the future will be made to the grid chart. I think they've stopped doing anything into the heat map. So what you see is
Yeah,
what you get with
that's
the heat
what
map.
I got them mixed up in my mind. Like which one has the newest updates, and there's a lot more features in the grid chart too. You can control what things look like.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is a quick thing, and up here I'm using the toolbar, which is part of self-service, and it's just an easy way to throw in some filters that I think look a little bit nicer. You can click around with that. And we can pop on over to customer breakdown. Oh, I know people aren't going to like this pie chart.
Oh, it's a pyramid.
I'm using it because it's not for the details, just to get like a general overview. Like, okay, you can see that there's most places, they either have supermarkets or deluxe markets, and there's not too many small grocery stores, mid-size grocery stores, and in the member cards, like most people, they have a bronze, so not too detailed. I think it really gives you parts of a whole, but I
Yeah,
know.
I guess it fits, right? Like five slices or less is generally good for the pie.
Yeah.
If they know it's interactive too, yeah.
It's usually good if you don't want to know details, but
Yeah.
just like general overview, I think this pie chart's good, but this here is what I want to get into. This is the custom report. Excuse me. And so what you can do is you have someone in here, they want, they're saying like, I wish I saw a scatter plot for XYZ. You'd be like, simple. Don't worry about it. We can click some things. You can choose. So what it does is it will automatically come up with what a recommendation almost of what they think you should show. But you can also click around if you wanted a table or change it up with a combo. I don't know if a combo would work in this instance, but you can really change things up. And also you can add measures and dimensions to it, which is something I want to show you guys how to do. So the thing is, it won't give you every single field for you to pick from. You as the BI developer, you can actually pick and choose and kind of write your own expressions for them to then use, so it doesn't overwhelm people who are actually using this to get insights.
Yeah, it's like that good middle ground between just viewing a dashboard and wanting to build something else, but not it's not opening up every single field in the data set. It's just the ones that your team designed, or deemed necessary for you to build some interesting things. So it's always a subset, which is the best way to do it. I feel like you're not going to overwhelm people, like you said. And you can rename fields. So if there's like underscores in those names, kind of how you had from the data model, you can even rename them here so that it's really easy to see. This is member card, or maybe they renamed it to something else, the bronze card or something like that, and rename that stuff. So it makes it really easy to jump in and do light analysis to really keep people from going to Excel.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, and one of the use cases I see this the most useful is usually when you have multiple teams using the same dashboard to do analysis. They're not. What will happen is maybe there's one chart here that everyone's going to look at, but then on the left side they'll have like 5 different charts that correspond to this one chart, and people are like, oh, I don't know which one to use, and it kind of clutters up space. So this is really great if you just want to throw that in here, and different teams they'll just find what they need very quickly. So I'm thinking we can add something in, maybe like the average costs, and we can throw in something else super easy, like the average. Oh no, this would not work. The data does not work with this one. I think I'll do maybe grocery square foot. So
How big the grocery store is.
we can try scatter plot.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, that's something that probably like a novice user, somebody that's first using Qlik Sense, they might not even have the edit button to be able to build a scatter plot if they're like an analyzer user. So we have lots of people that use the custom report to give a little bit of that power, but guide them with those. They can only choose from these dimensions and measures that we know work together. And there might be too many icons, like different visualizations, but out of the box, we give you the whole smattering of things. And then normally I see people like whittle that down. Okay, we don't want them to build maybe a heat map or a scatter chart, or get rid of the pie options. And you can turn that off. And then they can only choose from like table, pivot table, and a couple others. So lots of customization here that we could spend quite a while getting into. But I just wanted to note that because a lot of questions come in like, how flexible is this thing? And it's like, it's uber flexible. You can make the interface look a certain way, brand it, theme it, just like everything in Vizlib, but also reduce the complexity.
Yeah, this one has the longest appearance setting I've seen, and I think any other Vizlib component. There's a lot in here, but yeah, it's, as you said, very customizable. But yeah, here's a great example. Someone comes in and they want to see store type and the cost of running it, and also maybe like how many square feet the average one is. So you can see mid-sized grocery store, it costs the most to run. It also has the most square foot, which guess that makes sense. Here for the gourmet ones, the gourmet grocery stores, it's the smallest, but it's in the middle of cost. So
Interesting. Yeah.
maybe if they wanted to know, like, we need to get rid of one type of store, maybe gourmet is the way to go.
And then I like that. Are we going to talk about the sand key as well? Or is
Yeah.
that's outside of the customer report, right?
Yes,
Okay.
this is. You could build one in here
Oh yeah.
as well in the customer report.
Kind of
This
guides you through. So the different store types and what member cards they might have. The data looks, maybe the data is not that interesting in this one, but yeah, to build you just did a sand key in like 3 clicks.
Yeah.
You took a course on Tableau a while back, right? Did you ever have to build a sand key? It's pages and pages of steps to get it to look like that.
I think I have a harder time with Tableau just because I'm so used to working in Qlik and
Yeah, there's just different ways to do things.
yeah. And yeah, we can talk about the sand key. And for anyone who's watching who also has not been keeping up with all of the new things we've come out with, it's now called the flow chart. So
Yes.
we do have the sand key. However, we're not making any improvements to it. So you can still use it. There is just nothing will change about it, and any other improvements will be made to the flow chart.
Put that in there too. That was another one that I'm rusty. I've been away for a little while on paternity leave. I'm like, oh, it is a sand key, but it's called the flow chart now. Can we walk people through that? Because I think it is unique. It's one of my favorite visualizations. The breakdown of customers one on the bottom.
Yeah,
Maybe if you full screen it, because I like, and I'll move us to the side. Can we do that? We're kind of in the way. We'll just go out of the way. So this is like, you have it ordered of who the people are, like the gender in the database, what their marital status is, their yearly income, and then what this kind of showing us who you are, your demographics, and what store you're most likely to shop at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. So you'll see, maybe if we look at, let's pretend someone said, gourmet supermarkets. Is it worth it? Not sure. Who's shopping there? We don't want to alienate anyone, like any specific group. So if you come and you look in here, you can see that there's a pretty good distribution amongst like every income bracket. It's interesting because I don't know if you can see, but actually, like some of the most higher earning people, they don't actually shop at the gourmet supermarket.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. So if we look at this, you'll see that I think most of them actually just go to the supermarket.
Or they have like shoppers for them or something crazy. Well, I've been doing lots of Instacart over the pandemic. So I wonder, like, this data set's not up to date for something like that, where you could have like different types of shoppers. Like, do you actually shop? Do you get it delivered? Do you just do pickup, like where they drop it in your car? Which is becoming a lot more common, all the convenience stuff. And so there's all these like new data points that I think retail has that would add another like dimension in here of like a fifth thing if we had it. And I don't think it's in this sample data set, but I love this one for like exploring the data and hypothesis stuff of, well, if we know we're going for this, what's this breakdown, or vice versa? Like, where do females, single, like married females that make this much, where are they most likely to go shopping out of all of our stores? And it shows you that, even just, I think you can click on them, right? And then it'll make the selection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, that's what I like, the interaction of it. And then it's tied to everything else. So this is showing you the flow or the zoom, the volume, and then all of the other metrics that you might have on the dashboard. Tables, KPIs will all be updated because it's Qlik, so it's just showing you how you interact with stuff.
Yeah. So if we want to take your example, oh, Daniel.
Safe and sound. Yes, I'm at home.
But yeah, looking at the example you gave, so females who are married making 10 to 30 K a year, they are most likely to either go to the deluxe supermarket or just the plain supermarket, and not really the gourmet midsize or the small grocery store.
Interesting. Yeah. That's where, you built the sand key, and this is the dimensions and measures that everybody looking at this app can use. But if you were to use that custom report and you have those other dimensions listed, they could do things like, which advertisements does this demographic tend to respond to best? Like if the data is in there, and so adding in additional columns allows people to build these analysis on the fly without having to be a BI developer like we are.
Yeah, definitely. We can actually quickly do that right now just to show everybody. The we can look at.
Was it media type was something? I thought that had a bunch of things in there.
I'll do media type too because I broke it down. I did a subfield. And we'll look at, maybe we care about their marital status or kids at home. Children at home. Number of children at home. And also maybe we can add a count of the number of people. Something like that. So we can.
So you're changing out the measure that's used to show the volume, and then the number of kids at home and what type of media they respond to. Interesting. Yeah. Listen to a radio for 0 kids. Is that what it says?
Yeah, most kids. So people without kids listen to the radio more, and they're most likely to have.
I'll tell you that if you don't have kids.
The daily paper. That's interesting.
Yeah, if you had that advertiser data in there, you could have these like different kind of angles at the data. That's cool. And then I think my favorite thing is, okay, this is overwhelming. You can just hit that button that looks like a table, and it'll swap it over to, the very familiar. This is everything I've selected on the side, and if you wanted to, you can right click and export. But just having that ability to go back between the visualizations and something like this, like you couldn't tell, I imagine, looking at this raw data, what the volumes were per those things, but the sand key is awesome for that.
And as Joe said, you could export it, but why would you?
Yeah, just keep it there and play with it.
We always get that question. Can you export? We're like, why would you?
Yeah, you can. It's like a
don't. Like we're like, why do you want to put it in an Excel? It's here. This is basically an Excel. But yeah, that is the custom report. It's great. If anyone has any questions on it, feel free to let us know. But again, this is a really great way to declutter your screen and to make it easier for people to create analysis on the fly.
I'll throw the link in where if you've never seen this before or you want to try it out in Qlik Sense, we have, of course, you can download free trials. It's up to 5 people. That link is in the chats, I think, and people can copy it later. But you can try this out, put this in your environment. Works on Qlik SaaS, works on Qlik Enterprise, works on Qlik Sense Desktop if you still have that out in your systems. And yeah, play around with it and let us know. That's a lot of those features that you showed, Jane, like why the menu is so long for customization is because lots of people use it, and lots of like customers and developers using this have all these questions and customizations that they want. So we continue to add, features to this and make it super robust. So that's part of Vizlib self-service customer report.
I think this is great. And for the what if scenario, I want to make a fake scenario. So what I'm thinking is we want to open up a new store. We don't know where we want to open it yet. So, looking at store analysis, we're seeing the store costs, and the store sales. So roughly over the overall, it's the ratio is about the same. So the cost to run the store is in red, or this pinkish color, and the sales is this greenish color. So roughly it's all the same. So it doesn't tell us that much. It just tells us opening it in any state is okay. It's not gonna make the biggest difference.
Is that, you said greenish color?
Yes.
Is it really green?
Do you see it as a blue?
Oh no. No, it's gray. I guess I could say it's greenish gray. This show helps me uncover if I have color blindness, but definitely other people too, as we talk about all these colors. And I'm like, wait, that's green? Oh, no.
You're like, one of us is wrong.
Yeah. Well, you have the color code. You picked it, so there's probably some official name for what the RGB code or whatever it might
I
be.
hope it is green. I hope it's like gray green.
Okay, sorry, another derail. So what ifs? This is they're going to want to play with it. So I imagine this is where you were talking about inputting information.
Yeah.
Something
So
normally don't do in a dashboard.
Yeah, but you can. I think that's a great thing. Why export it and do all these calculations in Excel just to import it again when you can do it all in one dashboard? We've got the customer breakdown. So we're saying, okay, doesn't make too much of a difference. Where are most of our shoppers? They are in Washington, which is interesting. So, maybe we should open up one in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is telling me. And if we click on that, we can see most of them shop at a supermarket. So that's telling me maybe we should keep this momentum and open up a store in Washington that has a supermarket. But as you can see with the analysis, there's a lot of different things. So just Washington, some of them have coffee bars, not like more than half don't have prepared foods. Most places don't have a florist, and most places don't have a salad bar. I guess it makes sense that Washington has a coffee bar, though.
You have to if you want to survive there, probably.
So what I'm getting from here is maybe we want to put in a florist. Maybe there's not enough florists, but maybe prepared foods and salad bars, like there's enough of them around. We don't really need to add that, but definitely add in a coffee bar because Washington.
Right.
So then we go to this what if, and what we can do is we can plug in some information. So here's the input form. The store type, we said supermarket, and if it will include a coffee bar and a florist. We can see the cost to open the new store is $295 million. So if we wanted to kind of come in here, so because my store state that I've selected is Washington, there's a scatter plot here. So I can look and see the sales and also the cost millions. So from here I'm seeing maybe Spokane, it sells well, and the cost is lower than Tacoma. So maybe we can do another one in Spokane.
These are some really pricey stores. That's the downfall of Kaggle is like you don't really know what you're going to get. It seems out of the ordinary.
Yeah, we don't.
The economy now, so maybe it really does cost this much to open a store in like downtown Tacoma or Spokane. We should ask Emily when she gets back.
I actually, so this number is completely made up by me.
Oh, okay.
I have made up. So you could do calculations. I'm sure there are calculations on what it takes to open a store. I just guessed.
Okay.
I was like, adding a florist, 100 million, and I was like, I'll add that in. Washington rent, and then I just plugged all of that in. If anyone's interested to know how I did this, I'm actually using variables instead of the write back.
Oh, so you have this like interface. It's really easy to follow, kind of like following a survey form, asking questions. They can input the thing, and then you're storing it to these variables that can immediately be used in the visuals.
Yes.
That's cool. That's a good use of input form.
And I think it is different. I prefer variables because to me, like, the setup is easier. You can still do a lot with them. You're not really changing the data. It's great if you don't want to change the data. You just want to do some kind of calculation and be able to let people work with it. So what I've done here is for the input fields, I've added these fields, and then the data itself is the variable.
Mm.
Let me see if I can zoom in on this so people can see.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So for the data, I've put the variable, so it will now read the variable. And for the options, I've just defined some options in here.
Yeah, like this is where you could have a lookup, of course, of like, these are all the places we could have stores. And in this case, there's not that many, but if you're national or a global chain, like that list is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So you just point it to a field and allow them to choose from certain fields instead of typing in whatever. It helps with super clean data in that way because they can't go type in Washington. They have to type WA, or they actually can't type it. They just choose it from the list. So it makes reporting, analytics a lot easier because they can only input certain types of data, certain defined things.
And you can see what I've done here. So
this is your KPI designer?
yes, so I'm using KPI Designer, which is kind of my favorite thing. So I just have some numbers, if it's average cost of the store. And then what I did was I just added some random numbers in there. So if VLOOKUP state, you chose California, then you would add this much to that number. And then I basically said if you want to put in a coffee bar, you would divide that number by 0.8. If not, you just keep it at 1 so it doesn't change. And then I did some addition. Again, very random. I just plugged in some random numbers in here.
But you could have whatever expressions you want here. So that's like taking a what if scenario in like Excel where there's formulas and people touch the formula and break it. Here you're like locking in, this is the math or the equations we're going to use, and allowing people to put in their values and pick from lists. So I like this better because it's more secure, it's governed. Somebody's not going to overwrite a formula or multiply it by 1.1 and make the numbers look a lot better.
Yeah.
You locked it in for what they could do.
Yeah, exactly. And you can put any, I've seen some really hefty expressions in here. This one's quite simple. It's just arithmetic. But if anyone needs to use them, feel free to take apart this app and just follow along what I've done here.
I've actually seen, even beyond this, that's using the Qlik engine to calculate it. You can, with the integrations they have with like R and Python and Data Robot, those things, you can send the values that people entered over to that engine and then get a predictive value back even. So they just like opening up what you can do by capturing input. So you can actually change like a machine learning model and get that result back immediately.
Oh my gosh. That would be a game changer, especially to this app. Just machine learning.
Yeah, now you got to become a data scientist and come up with the store calculation machine model.
We should rebuild this and see how well our store of just miniature things would do.
Yes.
It's a small, tiny water bottle. Huh.
Awesome.
That's just a quick app, business case. No fun this time.
Zero fun, super serious.
Just business.
It's impossible to stay serious with these types of things.
Yeah.
Always find something in there. Cool. So we can, just like always, save this off, maybe make some tweaks, make it available. I know people have probably been asking for a couple apps here and there that have been showed lately.
Mhm.
And we're coming up with new processes to get these apps shared faster. But reach out to Jane, reach out to me, anybody at Vizlib, and we can send you the QVF file and note where we found the data if you want to play around with this on your own, or if you have something else to share. We need more guests. Like it's cool to see what others have been creating with these different things.
Yeah.
So just reach out if you want to join.
Yeah, we'd love to have guests on, show us what you do. And we don't have everything solved, so we would love to see and get inspiration from other people. This was inspired by other people because I was seeing what they were doing. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Nice. So we'll get that one shared and let people know. I don't want to let anything out of the bag, but any previews or things you can say about next week? It is next week, right? What Appy Hour might become.
So we are doing a game show. We are realizing our dream of becoming game show hosts. We're taking this to the next level. And Vizlib will have a game night. So I don't know. I don't know how much we can reveal, but join us at 10 a.m. U.S. time, and I believe that's 3 p.m. UK time and 4 p.m. Europe time.
Yeah.
We have a data visualization game. If anyone is thinking, what does that mean? You'll have to come and watch. It's a game show. You're going to have to use all your knowledge, and you don't have to know data visualization. You don't have to know Vizlib to play it. It's general knowledge, but we show it in visualizations, and we're hoping that the visualization will kind of help you come to a conclusion with your answers. And also, if you want to be a contestant, let us know. We'd love to have you. Again, you don't need to be a data visualizer or a BI developer or anything. It's available for anybody.
I threw your email in there, which I'm thinking maybe that's not the greatest thing. If you get a ton of spam, I'm sorry. But yeah, if people want to reach out, I think we need another person or two because it's so new. Nobody wants to be a guinea pig, maybe, but having seen a little bit of it, it's going to be fun. You're going to want to be a part of it. So if anybody's like, whatever, I'll be a part of it. I don't even know what it is. Next Thursday, we'll have it. So I think marketing stuff will go out probably tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't go out today. And if you want to be a contestant on this first one or upcoming ones, prizes, all that good stuff. So please reach out. We'll have some fun with it.
Yeah. He reminded me there are prizes. So you can either get a gift voucher or we will donate money on your behalf to a charity of your choosing. So I think that's great.
Sweet.
We as in Vizlib, the entity.
Yeah, we'll send you stuff too. Like, it's fine. Our sponsor, Vizlib. Yes, we'll send you stuff. Cool. Any other? We still got a few more minutes. Other announcements and things like that?
No, not from my end.
Perfect. All right, that's fun. Good one. Business, serious. Check the box.
Back to fun.
Yeah. Now, next one is going to be like crazy fun.
We're having fun making it. Everyone else is like, well, I don't get it. And we're like, I know people on the marketing team purchased instruments to make the intro. That is how serious we're taking this.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We'll have to have a behind the scenes as well. Maybe there'll be time after it runs to talk about what has gone into it. It's just funny. Awesome. With that, I'll raise my green screened out hurricane glass with water in it. Cheers. Nice one, Jane. Happy to be back.
Glad to have you back. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
See you soon. Yep. Bye all.
Bye.